Welcome, gun runner.
Hello everybody, Kieran aka Director Laird here, and I've got something for you this week that I haven't actually done for a while, which is a film review. And there was one point where I was doing these quite regularly, but yeah, there hasn't been actually really been any coming out for quite a while, so I haven't really had any of the chance to do any. But I actually have one here to do, and I must confess though, it is a bit old because the film in question, as you can probably already see anyway, is Memoirs of Spectrum Addict Load Film 2. Although this just says Spectrum Addict Load Film 2. But that's the film in question. It actually came out, I believe, right at the beginning of this year, or might have even just before Christmas. I think that says that the trailer there, which has got played in the background, was a preview trailer. It's like about 10 minutes long. Actually says December 2018, so in that case, yeah, it's probably been out about seven or 8 months. So I'm a bit late on reviewing it, but as many people know, I was at RetCon a couple of weeks ago where I was a special guest and did a talk and stuff like that. And Andy Remick, who made the film, was also a special guest. Did the talk. It was after mine or before mine. I can't remember that. No, before mine. And he was on a table opposite me in the special guest area where we all had our own tables as well. So I got chatting to him. We also had a couple of bevies in the pub afterwards and chatted some more. And yeah, we've got talking about some really cool stuff. But my lips are sealed on that. But there's something for the future. We've both got some ideas about. But he kindly gave me a copy to review because I mentioned that I had the first film, and actually he gave me a review copy of the first film, which he didn't remember, but I'll go into that in a moment. And said, "Would you like to have one of the second film as well?" So here we are, and here I am reviewing it. I gave him one of my Spectrum books as well, which he is very much enjoying apparently. So that was nice. So yeah, let's get into some business then. So as I already said, I'd already reviewed the first film, and I will put a link up here in the top corner for those who want to watch my review of the first film, because I think I don't think you need to have watched the first film actually to watch the second film. I think it's a standalone movie, but if you do want to go and watch the first film, then you can, and if you want to see what I thought of the first film, then you can go and see it there. Because spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about it in a moment. So if you don't want that to be spoiled, then look away now, so to speak. But when I reviewed the first film, I was quite critical of it. I didn't think it was terrible, but I was very critical about certain aspects of it, and I'll go through them now. So some of my main bugbears were there was quite a few factual mistakes in the film, really silly factual mistakes that really shouldn't have crept into there. Another one of my bugbears was that a lot of the footage of the games in the movie was in the wrong screen ratio. They were showing it in 16:9 widescreen instead of the original 4:3. That really actually got on my goat watching the first film because it happened a lot, and I was getting really annoyed with it during the movie. So that was another big bugbear of mine from that. And the main theme that disappointed me from the first film actually was that it was very confused. It jumped from one thing to another and back again, and I didn't really get a feeling of knowing what the film was doing. It kind of started to be almost like a nostalgia trip, which is what I was expecting it to be, being called Memoirs of Spectrum Addict, but didn't really turn out that way because they tried to do too many different things. I think perhaps they were a bit influenced by Bedrooms to Billions, which is obviously was the kind of, I suppose, the first film that anyone did related to the Spectrum and 8-bit computing in general, and I've reviewed that as well actually. So again, link in the top corner if you want to see some more about the 8-bit years and Bedrooms to Billions, even the 8-bit years, and if you want to see more of that. And I felt like the first movie was trying to copy Bedrooms to Billions quite a lot, or was perhaps influenced by it, rather than maybe trying to be its own film. So let's put that to one side for a moment because I don't want to talk about the first film anymore. I want to talk about the second film. So, does the second film follow the same, or does it get things right? And yes, I'm really pleased to say it gets everything right that the first film got wrong. In fact, it's almost as if Andy watched the first review that I did, the review of the first film that I did, and took notes and corrected everything that I moaned about, because he fixes, for example, the screen ratio is fixed. All of the footage is in the correct screen ratio. I didn't notice any silly factual errors in this, and it was not confusing and jumbled up. It was a completely coherent film, split into sections, really nicely signposted, and it was what I hoped the first film was going to be, in terms of being a genuine nostalgia trip for both the people watching and for everybody in the movie. And there are so many good people in this movie. But the first one I do want to mention, because I can see him on the screen behind me, is Mel Croucher, who I have to say is the star of the film. I've met Mel on many occasions because he's also good friends with my my publisher, Paul Andrews. Paul Andrews has bought Automata off him, which he talks a lot about in the film. So an interesting point there. And Paul is doing some really new and exciting things with Automata as well, and bringing some of their stuff back. And Mel is some of his stuff in this film is absolutely hilarious, and it really will have you laughing because the guy is just so genuinely entertaining. I actually went to Paul's birthday party when Mel was there, and he'd had a few drinks, and we had such a laugh. I can't even describe what a brilliant bloke Mel Croucher is. He's just fantastic. But I mean, other people in the film. I mean, a lot of the people are back from the first film. So Simon Butler's there, Jim Bagley's there, Gary Bracey's there, all from Ocean, of course. John Rittman, another ex-Ocean guy. Just looking at the back of the box to remind me, actually, some of the people. There's people from Crash and Your Sinclair, Fergus McNeil from Delta 4, the guy who runs Zenobie's in there. I can't remember his name. The late great Rick Dickinson is in there. Probably the last thing he was seen in, actually, before he sadly passed away. So it's great to see that he made it into the film. Jazz Austin's in there again. He does some bits actually with Mel Croucher and on his own. Roger Keane's in there, and Ollie Frey. Sorry, of course, let's think of his name there. Who obviously did he did a lot of the art for the first film. Actually, in this film, Hannah Johnson's done the artwork for this film. But other great things, he's brought the loading screens thing back, so all the sections are introduced by the genuine Spectrum loading screens coming down. That was really good. Did a much better job of putting the game footage in with the interviews. So while interviews are going on, you see game footage as well. So did a really good job of blending all that together. And in fact, the whole film overall, Andy Remick has done a much nicer job, I think, of producing it and making it work and fitting everything together. It's near enough 3 hours long, and I think this Blu-ray version I've got here has got some extras on it as well, actually, which I haven't watched. I sat down and watched the movie last night on my big TV on my own, which was absolute bliss because I don't often get the living room to myself. I don't often get to watch the big TV on my own either. So it was really nice to just sit down and have a specky nostalgia trip. And one of the things I loved about the guests in this, in terms of the Mel Croucher and everyone else, there's Rick Dickinson there, the designer of the Spectrum, was that they talk about the stuff they did and how they did it, which is great, which the first film had as well, talking about their inspirations for making the games and stuff like that. But they also talk about their own love of the Spectrum and why they worked on the Spectrum and their own memories of the Spectrum, even talking about their own favourite games, which is great. I mean, they program games, but they talk about the games that they actually liked playing. And there's some really unusual choices in there as well, which I liked. Not all of the usual suspects. So that was really nice to see in the film, which gave you even more feeling of nostalgia, I thought, than in the first film they had a few fans talking about their nostalgia, which I thought was good. But as I think I said in the first film, it should have been a broader range of people. That's not in this one, which I think is good actually. I like the fact it concentrates on the industry figures and that and their memories. I like that in this. I think maybe one that looks at the fans would be a separate movie, I feel. Also, another criticism actually from the first movie was I said that it didn't really look at the homebrew scene. That's corrected in this one as well. He goes big into the homebrew stuff, shows a lot of homebrew games, talked to some homebrew authors. So yeah, that's great to see. The homebrew stuff is in this film as well. So bringing it right up to date. It's even got a load about the Spectrum Next in there, so it brings it right up to date with even having the Spectrum Next stuff in there as well. So yeah, all of that stuff is great. I mean, it's nostalgia, it's stories, it's there's gameplay in there. There's hilarious stories. I mean, another thing actually, I keep thinking more things I want to mention is one thing I really liked in the first film was he did the bits in the school playground, trying to sort of recreate the kids in the playground, swapping tapes and talking about their favourite games. But in this, what he's done is he's done recreations of him and his dad, and when Andy Remnick, the filmmaker. And what he's done is use his kids. So he's playing his dad, his kids are playing him. He's done these recreations of moments like when he first asked for Spectrum and stuff. I loved that. It was absolutely brilliant. Really well done, really cool. And yeah, really funny. I really genuinely like that. It made things, feel more warm and fuzzy than they did before. And little touches like that really, really worked so well in this second film. And, I think he just got everything right. And, I said about in the first film, I think I gave a 5 out of 10. And for me, this one is a 9 out of 10. I can't really find anything actually to criticise in the film. I mean, another great thing is there's no Oliver twins in this one as well, which I think is a good thing because they were responsible for a lot of the really horrendous factual errors in the first movie, and also they clearly had no love for the Spectrum either. So a lot of what they were talking about was stuff that was nothing to do with Spectrum at all. They were talking about the Amstrad and stuff like that. So it's good to see that this one really does concentrate on proper Spectrum people. Yeah, I mean, I'll drop links below to the film where you can go and download it and where you can buy it, because it's a 9 out of 10 for me. And I think if you love the Spectrum, you have to go and see this film. This is the film that the first film should have been. It's full of great stuff. I really loved it from start to finish. And actually, there was one. I just remembered. I knew I had one criticism. I have to be fair. I knew there was one criticism I wanted to make, and I've just remembered what it is. So I'm just going to add this on the end. The only thing I didn't like about it was there are quite a few times where they've got game footage running, but they don't use the 128K versions. For example, RoboCop, they've got RoboCop running, no 128K music, so you can't hear that glorious AY soundtrack. And same again for Alfida's A Monty. Again, you don't hear the AY music. And that was strange because there is actually a bit in the film that talks about the 128 and adding AY music and what a difference it made having music in the games. So minor thing, because maybe they didn't put the music because they thought it was going to go over the top of people speaking, but they should have had some AY music in the film. That was it should have been in there, especially RoboCop. But that's it. That's my only moan. Go get the film if you haven't got it already, or download it, from the links, or buy the DVD or buy the Blu-ray or whatever. But if you love the Spectrum, you'll love this film, and I suggest you'll go and watch it. So thanks for watching my review of Spectrum Addict Load Film 2, and I will see you all again for another video very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.